US spent months unable to approve a package for Ukraine. The European members of the alliance did not deliver the amount of ammunition they promised. We saw the consequences on the battlefield. The shortage of ammunition allowed for the Russians to advance on the front line. Insufficient air defenses allow Russian missiles to hit more targets. Stoltenberg added that NATO countries should prioritize the transfer of weapons to Ukraine. 1534 Zelensky said at a joint press conference with Stoltenberg that there are no specifics regarding the supply of additional Patriot systems to Ukraine yet. According to him, there are only first steps, and the analysis of which countries have what is currently underway. At the same time, the president assured that when the new systems will be in Ukraine, you and I will feel it. 1519 NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg arrived in Kyiv on an unannounced visit and has already met with Zelensky, the NATO press service reported. This is Stoltenberg's third visit to Ukraine since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. 1433 The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation announced the capture of the village of Semenivka in the Avdiivka direction. This is confirmed by the map of the Ukrainian Deep State project. Also, Ukrainian analysts report that in this direction the Russians have advanced west from Okeredny, in the direction of Novoalexandrivka, and also to the south, in the village of Netilov. 1351 Russians shelled Kizimys, Kherson region, 1 person was killed, OVA reported. 1328 More than 18,000 Russian servicemen voluntarily left the service in the combat units of the Southern Military District of the Russian Army, the Ministry of Defense's GUR reports. About 12,000 of them are from the 8th Combined Arms Army of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, which the Russian leadership constantly uses in hostilities in eastern Ukraine. Approximately 10,000 of them are called up through mobilization, the remaining 2,000 are contract workers. At the same time, in the 58th Combined Arms Army, which is also part of the Southern District of the Russian Army, the desertion rate is about 2,500 people. 1250 According to the data of the UN monitoring mission, during March 2024, 604 civilians were killed or wounded in Ukraine as a result of Russian strikes. British intelligence reports that the number of civilian casualties has increased by 20% compared to February. Casualties are associated with missile and air strikes of the enemy, as well as with an increase in the number of shelling on the front line. 12:37 p.m. Russians attacked an energy facility in the east of the country, the Ministry of Energy reported. The equipment was damaged, the air line was disconnected. In the Donetsk region, on the afternoon of April 28, due to the blackout of one of the overhead lines of Oblenergo, the substation and the household consumers connected to it were cut off. Ukrenergo reported that there are new blackouts in Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, and Kherson regions due to hostilities. 1219 Ukraine has lost half of its terminals as a result of Russian aggression, Dmytro Baranov, deputy head of the Seaports Administration, said. According to him, since 2022, 39 attacks by missiles and UAVs have been carried out on Ukrainian ports. 215 objects were damaged, 153 vehicles, 8 civilian vessels were destroyed. Baranov also reminded that before the war there were 18 ports in Ukraine, they occupied 5 in Crimea. Then 4 more, Mariupol, Berdyansk, Kherson and Skadovsk. But we won back Kherson.